Been a wild week for the multi-tool world. We've got some chaos to talk about. Dakoyu's had some crazy couple days. We'll talk about that a little bit. I want to mention some perils I hope you can avoid. And then some trends are coming back. And finally, we'll wrap it up with Leatherman. I've got some more news, some things I didn't even realize were happening at Leatherman. Make sure to watch to the end. All right, so a lot of crazy things has been happening in the multi-tool world. Things were really kicking off with Dakoyu. Some of you reached out and said, what is going on? Are they falling apart? And I didn't really know what was going on either, just from the messages that were on their YouTube, their post. And the most complete explanation that we have had from Dawson, the head of Dakoyu, was that he mentioned in his post that he is the designer and CEO of Dakoyu. These are some of his products right here on the table. He's very grateful for what you guys have done, for standing behind him, but he had an agreement with Eric from Canada, the North American arm of Dakoyu, and then apparently payment due to personal reasons were not being made to Dawson, and so their relationship was terminated. Now, DakoyuTool.com will be their new place, www.dakoyutool.com, where he will resume production, making new things. And he is not going away. It's just the site as we have known it is changing. And so we've just got to wait until he has everything up and running again. Now, on the one Dakoyu website to the old one, I guess there were a couple products they were just trying to clear out. I know on AliExpress, I have seen some products as well. So this has been a little crazy to watch this happen with Dakoyu and lifetime as these posts were being posted. I was getting emails and so forth. One of the other things that did happen was Dakoyu has moved on from this design. Dawson has. This was one of the best versions of the free series, so good that people thought it was very, very close to the original, even though there was some big differences, but a lot of people felt like they were not big enough. Obviously, it relied heavily on the original design, but this is disappearing. It was one of the more expensive multi-tools released by Dakoyu, but it was very good. Now, this edition right here, I think will soon be ending, and then a new edition is coming out next month, according to Dawson. So pretty cool things to look forward to in the future. And I think this is basically his thing where he wants to make some special tools. They will essentially be bought up, and then he'll make some more special edition tools. This is almost like the Garage series, but on a cheaper, like more of a budget Garage series, it seems like, and it's pretty neat to see some of the different variations that he has come out with. Now, we're talking about chaos in the multi-tool world. I've been wanting to talk about this tool. I may have mentioned it in one video, but this is the TOPW. It was gifted to me. This is absolutely awful. Usually, horrible multi-tools still function better than this. This doesn't even have a lock. It just like flops. Yeah, really bad. I mean, I guess it comes to a stop, but oh, this is awful. These little chintzy, it looks like the knife is backwards. I don't even know what this is. It seems like they put globs of metal on here. Some of you may love this tool. I hope you don't, but I'm sure there's someone out here who loves it. So this side actually has been tightened down so that you almost get like a stop at the end, but this side just flops. Yeah, really, really bad. Now, there is a huge distinction between this tool, which probably is $5 to $7 on Amazon. Maybe you could buy it for that, or at Menards or one of those box stores. And this tool, the Multipur, or a version of it, which, and I have the bit out of this one, but this has a double-sided bit that comes with it. It has locking. It locks in the 90-degree angle and then fully extended. You can unlock it. It is a very heavy, sort of a chunky tool, but this one comes in, I think this was more like $30, but there's versions that are around $20. So there's a huge difference between $5 and like a $20 multi-tool that still seems a little heavy, a little big, And then you get like the Byberry Surge clone, like this one right here, for around the $40, $30 to $40 price point. This is fantastic. It is a huge waste of money to buy this for around $5 to $10, but it's a fantastic value to buy this for $30 to $40. So that is where we're at in the multi-tool world. Please be very careful and selective. One of the tools that I was introduced to when I first entered this search for multi-tools was Ganzo, and I have seen some of them, and I don't know why. 5 years ago, almost everyone on YouTube was recommending them. They are probably about as bad as this. They are not very good. Now, there are some that are better, but some of them are very, very, very cheap, essentially pot metal, really, really bad tools. Everyone was recommending them, and thankfully I did stumble across We All Juggle Knives, I believe it was his channel, and I was introduced to some of the other tools that were a little bit better. But yeah, that is something definitely we need to watch out for. Now, this is one of my pet peeves also in the multi-tool world, is people who design things and they almost get it right, but then there's a huge miss. This right here is one of those things. This is an evolution of the replaceable plier head. There has been several through the years. Even back in like 1920, they came out with one. I have a video on that. You can scroll through my hundreds of videos and find that somewhere. This one right here is a modern interpretation of that, but unfortunately they have this where this handle hits this, and you cannot even use this plier head. It will not fully close it. That is a huge miss. Why I got this is because I thought, wow, that's fantastic that now we have these wire stripper and plier heads that you can change out. And I've been waiting for a multi-tool version of this. That's good. There are some that are not that good. But this one, actually, the plier head looks pretty nice. Okay, for what it is. But yeah, some of these, especially this like side cutter right here, the springs are really cheap. And then how they designed this, it was not meant. So you open this up and you close this. Let's see, let's put it in like so. But yeah, it was not meant, unfortunately, it was not made right to fit in this handle. So that was a huge miss. That's some of the things that came with it. There's also this tool, like a shear, then your regular wire strippers, and then a larger one. Unfortunately, these do rust fairly easily. I've had these sitting out in my garage, and there's already a fair amount of rust on this, and I've just had it maybe a couple months. This is the other plier head. This is a very thin wire stripper plier head. Fantastic design, but unfortunately, yeah, still has a lot of ways to go. When we think about trouble in the multi-tool world, probably the name that pops to mind is Leatherman. But some of the things that Leatherman has done have been done by other companies. And SOG at one time did actually coat their tools in this gold coating to try to market them as being more rust resistant, I believe, or at least it was to differentiate them and to make it more attractive for people to buy. Now, these tools, when they're nicely coated, go for over $100, $150, $200. This one was worn down, so I got it on a very good deal, which I should have. But you can at least see by the plier head how nice they were when they were fully coated to a nice extent. Some of these SOGs, the older versions, I think are really, really nice. They seem to have been made very well, and they were at the beginning made here in the US. This is one of those older styles, and it's sort of neat to see some of those older tools. They have a lot heavier duty feel to it, but coating, changing colors on multi-tools really isn't a brand new thing. What I've noticed recently is even Byberry is doing it, taking a card out of Leatherman's playbook, and we will soon review one of those Byberry tools where they have essentially copied what Leatherman is doing. I don't know if that's a great thing. Now, when I did my last video on Leatherman and all their colors, the new skeletal and so forth, one of the things I did not realize is Leatherman has been undergoing a change, and this year they are now under a new CEO. So Ben Rivera had been CEO for around 13 years. In 1991, he actually was hired on as an engineer, and he became instrumental in bringing the Juice, the Super Tool. He worked on the Wave, and yeah, a lot of other tools. He was a huge part of Leatherman, and he was excited about the Leatherman Garage and a lot of those products. But now leadership has changed from Ben, and now Chris Hamper, as of January 2026, has become the CEO. Now, he was before the chief financial officer. So obviously he was really interested in how Leatherman was doing financially. That was driving him a lot. Whereas in Ben, as an engineer, probably would have had some more interest in where is Leatherman going from the engineering aspect. Are they making new tools? What's going on with that? So there has definitely been a shift as of January. So I do imagine that Chris will continue to take Leatherman in a way that will be profitable, try to keep the company afloat, which is definitely good for us long term, but in the short term, we might get more of this, a lot of color changes, and not perhaps as much substance. We'll have to see. Now, on this side, we can see how the company grew. The tools got larger, the tools got more complex, but outside, the tools remain visually very similar. And now it's all about changing the outside visibly so people at least feel like they need to get something different to keep up with all the new things coming up. I do think that is smart to some extent. I understand why Leatherman's doing it, even if it can be very frustrating. Now, one of the other things that is a little crazy is Leatherman does seem to have kept it under wraps. I did not realize this, but they have not talked a lot about who designed what tool. So Tim Leatherman made the original tool, but after that, it's a little bit of a mystery. There is some information out there about Ben, the former CEO, making several mini tools from 91 on. He had his hands in many, many projects. But yes, before then, it's a little bit of a mystery who made what. Fascinating.